Warning, the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers and or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Shut up. I like doing that.
Hi guys!
Hey! We're early.
Hello. Sorry about being early.
We have a long one tonight, and then we also have stuff to do afterwards, so...
Beast and Jugs might carry the rest of this.
Yeah. I have a handlebar mustache. This is coming in nice! Look at this! This is super nice. Tim, what's up? Tom, look at my handlebar.
Tom, what's up?
Look at this. This is coming in super nice.
Mikey, Iris, what's up?
Oh, Iris is new. Hello, Iris.
Hello, hello.
Oh, yeah, we're early tonight. This is going to be a long one. Yep. Freaking...
So...
Scorecard Killer.
You okay there?
I stuttered for a second. It's the awesome handlebar mustache.
Totally.
Yep.
Hey guys, share out please. Hey Ashley, what's up? What's up? All right guys, let's get into this. So, hold on. Can't put the notes over Frank's face. He has to stare at himself.
I like staring at myself. I don't mind the notes being over my face.
Hey Sykes, what's up?
What's up, Sykes? Are you wearing patchouli?
No. I have no perfume on. You okay there? I have Old Spice deodorant on. So if there's patchouli in that, then
there's patchouli and Old Spice deodorant. I just smelled it, and I think it's the one I'm wearing right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mikey.
All right. So, Randy Stephen Kraft, born March 19th, 1945, is an American serial killer, more commonly known as the Scorecard Killer, or the Southern California Strangler. They also call him the Freeway Killer, but it's not the same.
No, there's actually been several freeway killers, and they all started in the 70s and they go into the 80s. Yay! Thank you.
Hey, Genevieve!
Hi, Genevieve!
Hey, Kisa!
Wait, am I Stud Muffin Sugar? Is it the handlebar mustache?
Tree stalker.
I'm getting like... I'm the tree stalker?
I don't know.
I hope I am. Oh, it's Sykes! Oh, sorry. I forgot. There's a lot of freeway serial killers. Try saying that 3 times fast. That's actually... They all kind of came together around the same time in the 70s in California. They stalked the I-5 freeway mostly. Kraft was different. He didn't stalk the I-5 freeway, but he we'll get into the freeways that he did go through. A lot of places from her hometown of Whittier.
No, not Whittier.
Was it Whittier or Anaheim? Sorry.
Not at all. Anaheim.
Anaheim, yeah. Right, Anaheim.
I'm from Anaheim, babe.
Darkos.
All right, so okay, wrong location.
Yeah, but there's a big shipment of cocaine coming in to Whittier, California.
I'm sure there's a few.
Yeah. How many serial killers had a handlebar mustache?
I'm sure there's a few.
Well, actually, what's his face?
Exactly, the Mighty Ducks.
H.H. Holmes. He did.
And for the record, that's my shirt. And we got it from FYE before it shut down.
Yay, thank you, Sykes. H.H. Holmes had a handlebar mustache, and I want to say, who was the Gray Man again? The one who killed from the 30s. Albert Fish. He had a handlebar mustache too, I think.
So let's get started. Hey, Otis!
Otis!
What's up? No, keep drinking that.
Oh! We gotta show this off. I found this beer. Well, we found it a while ago, but then
I was like, we've already shown it off on our show.
I know, but then I refound it again. Look at this.
The cuteness will cut you to pieces.
Bunny
with a chainsaw. All right. Okay, let's do this.
We're doing this.
This is long. This is a long one. So Kraft became known as the Scorecard Killer because when he got arrested, they discovered a coded list containing cryptic references to his victims, some of which were never figured out. And we're actually going to get into that at one point here.
Hi, Kisa.
I said hi to her.
Oh, I said hi too. I know.
So his early life.
They found his scorecard in an unlikely place. Actually, it was very ingenious where he actually kept it.
Okay, he kept it.
Where he kept it.
And
we kept it.
Come on. You said she, just like I did. This is going to be a long one.
That's what she said.
So Randy Stephen Kraft was born in Long Beach, March 19th, 1945. He was the fourth child and only son to Opal Lee and Harold Herbert Kraft. Kraft's parents had moved to California from Wyoming at the outbreak of World War II. His father worked as a production worker, and his mother was a sewing machine operator. The Kraft family they lived pretty modestly. His mother undertook a succession of jobs to supplement her husband's salary, but Opal Kraft always found time for her children, whereas in contrast, Kraft's dad seldom attended any social gatherings with them, and was later described as being very distant.
You want to hear something funny that we have in common? I have in common with Kraft?
Huh.
My father moved out here. Well, he was made in Missouri, but they moved out here, and he was born in California. My family moved to California at the outbreak of World War II, too.
But not from Wyoming.
No, they're not from Wyoming. We are from Missouri and Arkansas.
Yeah.
So, I just thought it was a cool little tidbit. Hi, Calvin.
Hey.
Sewing machines operators were needed when sewing machines... What?
Needed to call each other.
Oh! Yeah.
Natalie! What's up? Calvin, how's it going?
Hi, Calvin.
All right, so in 1948, the Kraft family moved from Long Beach to Midway City, which is in Orange County. Their home was small, wood framed. It was the Women's Army Corps dormitory on Beach Boulevard. And his father renovated it into a 3-bedroom house. What?
Cheese family.
Hi.
Hi.
Kraft cheese. Wait, come back.
Yeah.
I don't know what Otis is pointing at, but looks like himself. So,
right.
Adolescence and graduation. By adolescence, Kraft had taken a keen interest in politics, becoming a staunch Republican with aspirations of becoming a U.S. Senator. Shortly after his enrollment at Westminster High School, he and 2 close friends founded the Westminster World Affairs Club at Westminster High School. Kraft was again regarded as a pleasant, bright student who regularly achieved A's. What's up, Tyler?
Oh.
Why don't I see him,
Where's
though?
Tyler at? I don't see him.
Hey!
Hi, Tyler.
What, you said the Crab family?
I'm actually...
The
I'm
Kraft?
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so used to seeing Tyler come in as scurry face. I didn't even see it this time.
I was like, what? So, let's see. He was also known to occasionally date girls, although some classmates and teachers later said that they had suspected that he was homosexual.
Well, it was at this time...
Which, by the way, does come into play.
It does come into play here majorly. At this time, he was going out... Oh, we're out of focus.
Whatever.
Moved. At this time, he was going out and
It'll fix it sooner or later.
It's not fixing. What the hell? Okay.
Well, everything died. Okay, it's bad. Oh.
There we go. At this time, he was going out and he was basically with his guys, and they were like, he was catcalling girls just to do it, but he was not interested in girls in any way, shape, or form. I want to say it was right around this time where he did have his first experience with a guy.
Hey.
I think.
Okay, you're getting way ahead of this.
Sorry.
So, Kraft later stated that he had known from his days in high school that he was gay. He initially kept his sexual orientation a secret. On June 13th, 1963, he graduated 10th out of a class of 390 pupils. That fall, he enrolled in Claremont Men's College in Claremont, California, and he pursued a Bachelor of Arts in Economics.
Wait. He went to the men's college and pursued a bachelor.
I like blurry face while learning about the Crab family.
Right? I don't know what it is. Ever since we put this backdrop up, it's cool. I like the black.
I tell him that we need to change it because it never did that with the other one.
It didn't, but I just got tired of the. I guess we can go back to the Kraken.
Nothing wrong with it. All right. So shortly after his enrollment at Claremont Men's College, which is now called Claremont McKenna College.
Because I'm kidding. It's not because of Kraft.
Kraft enrolled in Claremont Reserve Officers Training Corps and regularly attended demonstrations in support of the Vietnam War in 1964 for the election of the Republican presidential candidate Barry Goldwater.
You gotta bring that up.
Nice, Mikey.
Nice, Mikey. Thanks. Ashley, I want a motorboat, Liz.
Woo! Okay.
Titties! All right, back on subject here.
Thank you. So, we'll get to some of the comments in a little bit, but keep commenting. So, Kraft later declared these actions were merely a mimic of his parents' political views and not his own, describing his second year at Claremont as being when he abandoned the last gasp of his conservative ideology. The same year, Kraft entered his first known homosexual relationship. In 1964, Kraft began working as a bartender at a local lounge in Garden Grove that catered to gay clientele. He was also known to regularly travel to Laguna Beach and Huntington Beach for casual sex with hustlers. We're going to get to a really famous bar that he went to quite a bit that I used to go to, and it just closed down like a couple years ago now, called Ripples. It was a gay bar that was there since the early 70s. Smelled like Lou Dog inside the van. So, in 1966, oh, excuse me, I missed a part of my notes. In an apparent effort to announce his sexuality to his parents, he took a succession of male friends to meet his family in the years that he was enrolled in Claremont. Initially, Kraft's parents and sisters were oblivious to the fact that he was gay. Eventually, they picked up on it.
It's not nice what his sisters and all of them did to him, though.
Not at all.
Nope.
It's not okay. So, in 66, Kraft was arrested and charged with lewd conduct.
Oh, does he have notes?
After propositioning an undercover policeman in Huntington Beach. Which, by the way, that's where we're going next week. Is Huntington Beach.
Oh, that policeman was undercover.
As he had no previous criminal record, no charges were filed. And the following year, he developed a radical shift in political beliefs, becoming an ardent supporter of the left-wing politics, and eventually registered as a Democrat in 1967.
It was mostly about the extremes and stuff like that. It was all about basically his narcissism and stuff like that. It really didn't have anything to do with politics.
Well, yeah.
He says it was, I went along with my parents on this, but really, it was just him. So.
The same year he registered as a Democrat, Kraft became a party organizer, campaigning tirelessly for the election of Robert F. Kennedy, and receiving a personal letter from the senator, thanking him for his efforts. By his senior year, he had become a lackadaisical student, drinking, doing drugs, regularly attending all-night poker sessions with other students. The lack of commitment to his studies in his final year resulted in him failing to graduate from Claremont.
We're also going to get to a point here where we're talking about the service here. He was at the time, too, he kept deferring his draft notice. So I
grew up in Huntington Beach.
Y'all go to where a lot of serial killers. We live in California.
There's not really a place to go that hasn't.
There's a lot of murders in California. If you've ever seen the movie California with a K, there's a reason why it's that way. It's cool. It's a cool movie. Love that movie. That's
Jesus, Frank.
It's actually my favorite movie of all time. But Mokum Games with students.
Hey, Kenny.
Hi, Kenny. All right.
Okay, so Air Force. 4 months after his graduating from college, which he finally did, a year after he was supposed to, by the way, he joined the Air Force. He was sent to basic training in Texas before being stationed at Edwards Air Force Base in SoCal,
which is only 2 hours east of here. Yes.
Where Frank likes to interrupt me and make me lose my spot.
Oh, you can see me.
I can see you. So, at Edwards Air Force Base, he supervised the painting of test planes. In his service with the Air Force, he rose in the rank to Airman First Class and Supervisor Manager, which, okay.
Yeah.
The same year Kraft became an Airman First Class, he disclosed to his family that he was gay. In a letter he wrote to a friend, Kraft described his father as having flown into a rage when he told him, whereas he described his mother as being more understanding, if somewhat disapproving. His family ultimately accepted his sexuality, and he remained in close contact with his parents and siblings, although his siblings noted had began to distance themselves from him after he had announced that he was gay.
It wasn't just his dad really went after him though at this time. They're not saying this in our notes that we found. His dad really went after him, and then for his he finally, after I think about a few months after this, he was completely open even with the military at the time. And at the time, if you were gay in the military, you were kicked out. So he went up to his commanding officer and straight up told him, "I'm gay," and he didn't. Well, it's not a dishonorable discharge. What's the other one?
It's not honorable.
Not. It's basically it's just a discharge, but he gets no pension, no nothing out of it.
Actually, so don't ask, don't tell is when you do get a dishonorable discharge. Actually, yeah. So
well, everything I looked into this, he didn't get a dishonorable discharge, but it wasn't.
Well, so. On July 26, 1969, he received a general discharge from the Air Force after announcing his sexuality to his superiors. The discharge was officially listed as being on medical grounds, which is probably like a Chapter 2 or something, administrative discharge. Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Doug.
What's up? By the way, if you guys don't know who October Noir is, go check them out.
Oh! Hi, Doug!
Wow, that was kind of a blonde moment.
I'm sorry.
So, God damn it. On July 26, 1969, he received his general discharge from the Air Force. The discharge was officially listed as medical, which is probably a Chapter 2. He sought legal advice from an attorney in an attempt to challenge the grounds regarding his discharge from the Air Force. The Air Force, however, refused to change the status of his discharge. Following his military discharge, he moved back in with his parents and worked as a bartender. So, that actually comes into play a little bit later, because one of the many, many murders has a lot to do with him being a bartender. So, his first known sexual assault... I'm sorry to interrupt you, but...
You're fine.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say I forgot what I was going to say. Sorry. Go ahead.
All right. So, March of 1970, not 2070, because that doesn't exist yet. Kraft encountered a 13-year-old Westminster young man named Joseph Gerald Fancher in Huntington Beach. Fancher explained to Kraft that he had run away from home that day. In response, Kraft invited him to accompany him to his apartment with the promises that he could live with him. He agreed and accompanied him to his place in Belmont Shores, where he was drugged and assaulted. Hours later, he escaped from Kraft's apartment, and that was because Kraft had to go to work.
It wasn't just the assault was weird. I mean, he came to. Kraft was literally there saying, and Kraft actually said to him, "I got to go to work, but when I come back, you're going to die." That's literally what happened here. The kid was in complete pain because of everything that happened to him and struggled to get out of the house. And I think Kraft had a roommate too that came in, and he's walking past him basically at the time. But yeah, so.
Yeah, exactly. Never trust somebody you just met that offers to put you up for free.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Tim, he's
What's
over
up,
in Town
Tom? Okay. So, when he escaped, somebody that he ran into called an ambulance for him because he saw that he was completely disheveled. He was obviously drugged out. He ended up having to get his stomach pumped.
He drugged the shit out of him.
Yeah, well,
he was lucky to
it was
wake up.
diazepine.
Yeah, he was lucky to wake up.
Mm-hmm. At the hospital, he informed police that Kraft had given him drugs and beaten him. He did not disclose to his parents or the police that he had been sexually assaulted. And a search of Kraft's apartment with the cooperation of his roommate did happen. However, as Fancher had confessed to police that he had taken the pills that he offered to him voluntarily, the officers had conducted it without a warrant, and
that's the part
there were no charges filed because of those two things.
Well, the warrant was made, or they just went in there and started looking through things and going after everything. The police really fucked up with this one. They did.
Well, it was the 70s.
Well, they kept fucking up in Los Angeles, especially
Los Angeles. Diazepam, thank you.
Especially when you go into the OJ trial and stuff like that. There's a lot of fuck ups by the police with that.
So, in 1971, Kraft found new employment as a forklift driver in Huntington Beach. Mm-hmm. In an effort to get further in his career prospects after being discharged from the military 2 years earlier, he decided to go to Long Beach University, or Long Beach State, wanting to be a teacher now.
He did get his credentials.
Well, he became acquainted with Jeff Graves, a fellow teaching student from Minnesota, 4 years younger than him, with whom he actually began a relationship. So here we go. We're getting into the murders. What the fuck?
Oh, to smoke weed or day. Beth Smith, I was able to save
Hold on.
Sorry.
I'm sure there's more to it up here. So, here you go. We're going to get to some comments. Hope everyone's doing well. My arthritis is acting up for me. Shut off. Wait. On a damn fly. Get out of here. I'll kill you.
Oh, you're doing
talk
text. You're doing talking text.
Text is the best. Sorry, there's a fly on my phone. I was yelling at my speaker.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's great.
And to finish off the story, because it's fantastic.
We have to go into this. I'm sorry.
Where did it go? I was able to save the fly and put him in a jar, or capture.
Beth Smith, I was able to save
Hold on.
Sorry.
There. We're gonna get to some comments. Hope everyone's doing well. My arthritis jar. We're gonna get to some comments. Hope everyone's doing well. My arthritis is acting up for me. Shut off. Wait. On a damn fly. Get out of here. I'll kill you.
Oh, you're doing
Talk
text. You're doing talk to text.
Is the best. Sorry, there's a fly on my phone. I was yelling at my speaker.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's great.
And to finish off the story, because it's fantastic.
We have to go into this. I'm sorry.
Where did it go? I was able to save the fly and put him in a jar, or capture, put him outside. I captured him in a jar.
That's freaking great. Okay.
Look at this guy go. I can't even find the boyfriend. Okay, so between 1971 and 1983, Kraft is believed to have killed a total of 67 victims. All of his suspected victims were males between the ages of 13 and 35, the majority of whom were in their late teens to mid-20s.
So, the crazy thing is at this time you have escalation going on. Like, so you had Gacy, then you had Bundy, then you had Kraft.
They blocked it?
Okay.
Look.
What did they block?
The comment where she was cussing out the fly, I think.
Oh.
That's bullshit.
Anyway, you have escalation that's going on in the 70s. You had Bundy, then you had, Gacy, Bundy, then you had Kraft. Kraft was actually, I want to say Kraft had more victims than Bundy, and then right after that, you had the Green River Killer, Ridgway, but that wasn't discovered until 2003, and then the most prolific serial killer of all time, all relates here to California, Samuel Little.
So Kraft was charged with and convicted of 16 out of the 67 homicides, all of which had occurred between 72 and 83. Many of his victims had been enlisted in the military. They were Marines.
Yeah, he had a thing for Marines.
And most of his victims' bodies bore evidence of high levels of both alcohol and tranquilizers in their system, indicating that they had been sedated before they were abused and killed.
Well, a lot of his killings actually took place in between Los Angeles and San Diego. And what he would do is he'd go to the bars when the weekends happened, and the Marines would be let off for leave and stuff like that. They'd go to the bars, he'd get them fucking wasted, give them pills, and then took them off and did what he wanted to them. And then left their bodies on the side of the road somewhere.
So, Doug says, it might have escalated over time, but Gacy had the best songs written about him.
He did.
Yeah.
Oh, what was the band?
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of bands. That one band that did the Bundy song, The Wheels on the Bus. Macabre. Doug, have you ever listened to Macabre? I freaking love Macabre. They're fun. They're a really fun band. I think Otis knows Macabre too. They're fucking rad.
So no, Sam Little is not Son of Sam. That's David Berkowitz.
No, Sam Little is Samuel Little. Man, he was caught. When was he caught? Only a couple of years ago.
Yeah, not too long ago.
And they confirmed 215 murders, and out of 250, they suspect 250 murders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right?
That's dicey. Yeah. What did Natalie say again?
Natalie said, "Wow, that's dicey to go after Marines."
They like to drink. That's what it was, and he knew.
Hey, Stormbringer.
Hi, Stormbringer.
What's up?
Oh yeah, Otis knows Macabre. Macabre's fucking rad. I fucking love Macabre. They're so fun, man. He knew what he was. He was in the military at the time. He knew that they would on leave. They just wanted to go out and drink and party.
Yeah. Well, he was in the Air Force and they were in the Marines, though.
Still, it's military. They all kind of act the same on leave.
Anyway, you did it again. Okay. So Kraft's victims were typically lured into his vehicle with the offer of a ride or alcohol. And in the vehicle, the victims would be supplied alcohol or drugs. Then they were bound, tortured, sexually abused before they were usually killed by either strangulation, asphyxiation, or bludgeoning. although some victims had also ingested fatal doses of pharmaceuticals and alcohol, I should say. And then one victim was stabbed to death, and that was a complete rage killing. The victims would then be discarded, usually not through, like, not exclusively along the sides of the freeways, but a lot of them were. Photographic evidence found at Kraft's home indicates that several of his victims were driven to his house before they were murdered.
He had a means of picking up victims too, like especially with the younger kids. I think he had a Mustang or a fastback of some sort, and he had his muscle car, and he'd go around and pick people up for rides and stuff like that too.
Mm-hmm. So, on October 5th, 1971, police found the nude body of a 30-year-old Long Beach resident named Wayne Joseph Duquette, discarded close to the Ortega Highway. Duquette was a bartender at a gay bar named The Stable in Sunset Beach, and was last seen alive on September 20th of that year. So his decomposition had actually erased all the signs of foul play on his body. And the cause of death was listed as acute alcohol poisoning due to the high blood alcohol level. Now, mind you, The Stable is actually the bar that was next to the bar he was a bartender at.
Yeah.
And so that's how they met. 15 months after the murder of Duquette, Kraft killed a 20-year-old Marine named Edward Daniel Moore. He was last seen alive leaving the barracks from Camp Pendleton on December 24th of 72. His body was found next to the 405 in Seal Beach, which, by the way, the distance of that,
huge.
That's big. That's like 4 or 5 hours.
Even Los Angeles in the 70s, that takes forever to drive.
Well, that's going from San Diego to Los Angeles.
Yeah. And
That's
the 405,
big.
the 405 starts. Where does it start? It starts when you get in the northernmost part of Los Angeles. That's where it starts.
I'm
It's
going
insane.
to
It's
put
huge.
a quick pause on this. We're going to play a commercial, guys.
Yep. Holy crap, we got a lot of people in here.
Well, which one do you want to play? Let's play this one.
Let's play the Urban Exploration. Hi, we're back. Okay.
All right.
Hi, Randy.
Good stuff. Hey, Randy, how you doing? The stud stables.
See, I'm telling you, it's the handlebar mustache. I'm keeping this. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna try to go out. I'm gonna do Wario
Oh,
with this
don't
shit.
do that. Please
Oh,
don't.
No,
For the love of God,
it's
don't.
happening now.
So, he was discovered 2 days later, so December 26th, on the side of the 405 in Seal Beach. The abrasions on his body indicated that he had been discarded from a moving vehicle. The autopsy revealed that he had been bound at the wrists and the ankles. Don't do it. Then beaten with a blunt instrument all over the face before being garroted. His body also bore evidence of numerous bite marks. And this next part actually did turn into kind of a calling card. It's really fucked up, and I don't mean to laugh.
His calling
He kept
card.
shoving socks up people's asses.
I'm sorry, when we were reading about this, learning about this, like that was his calling card. Like he just kept shoving things up people's, mostly socks.
Mostly socks. And he liked taking their shoes and socks away from them.
Yeah, he had a thing for that. Did you trim? I didn't trim my beard. I just did this part right here. That way you could have to do the handlebars.
Natalie, I will explain why that's a giant no. Later.
Why? You don't want?
No, my stupid ex had mutton chops.
Oh. Well. But he was not cool like I am.
No, he was not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Steve the
so
kitty!
with him being a bartender, it'd be easy for him to put stuff in their drinks too. Absolutely.
He knew how to do things.
What's up?
Ah, Stephen Cat. So they don't.
Oh, you know. That's
okay.
No.
No, it actually hit the nail on the head
That's
right there.
yeah.
It
Socks, gerbils, sheesh.
wherever he killed his victims at, yeah, because when we get to how he was caught, it's pretty brutal, and he was very nonchalant about it when how he got caught.
Oh yeah.
So, and
So-
Ashley made a very good point there.
By the way, when I say that his body had a lot of bite marks, he even bit his dick.
Oh no, he escalated fast with the brutality of his killing.
Oh yeah. So
it really sounds like he's just rape, murder, and then he's done. No. He gets fucking brutal.
6 weeks after the murder of Moore, the body of an unidentified male who was somewhere between 17 and 25 was discovered on February 6, 1973. It was found alongside the Terminal Island Freeway in Wilmington. This victim had been strangled with a ligature and had also had a sock placed in his rectum.
Tom suck ass.
Yeah, I already brought it up.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, garroted. So basically, it's when you have either the cord or the string, and you start twisting behind it so it starts tightening.
Mm-hmm.
That's garroted.
Ligatures, stuff like that.
Yeah. Gonna put a...
It's actually a really... Gonna put a foot in your
Damn
ass and damn it.
Foot got stuck again.
That's probably what happened. Shit. I'm not making fun of the victim. I'm sorry. That's actually a really efficient way to strangle someone, is not with your hands.
Garroting.
Because you would have to, if you're going to do it with your hands, you have to learn you have to get strength in your thumbs and break.
Well, okay, so the victim had been strangled with ligature and had also had a sock placed in his rectum. I like how just matter of fact that is. 2 months later, April 9th, the body of 17-year-old Kevin Clark Bailey was found beside a road in Huntington Beach. Bailey had been emasculated and sodomized prior to his murder.
And more than likely, he was emasculated while alive.
That's what they just said.
Oh, sorry.
That's literally what I just said out loud.
He
was emasculated prior to his murder.
Sorry. I already had the thought in my head because I already know where we're going with this.
By July 28th, 2 more victims had been, murdered. An unidentified youth whose body was dismembered, and it was found in Wilmington on April 22nd, and a 20-year-old named Ronnie Jean Weib, whose strangled body was discarded beside an on-ramp to the 405 on July 30th, 2 days after he disappeared. Welt marks on Weib's wrists and ankles suggested that he had been bound and suspended upside down before his murder.
There's one thing where they actually understand with
sock puppets.
Sock puppets, yeah, I saw that. I was laughing my ass off. I was like, don't say that out loud. You have to understand something with Kraft. He was pretty much in berserk mode the entire time, and he escalated and kept escalating and kept escalating, and he kept getting worse and worse and worse.
So Beth, I think Ashley hit the nail on the head with this one. More likely, it was for transportation purposes. Because let's be real, when people die, they leak.
What he would do is, what his main MO was, get him drunk, get him back to his place, or to a secluded area, do whatever he wanted to do him, murder them, then take him to another area and dump him out of his car while it was moving.
Stephen P. Kitty Cat says, on my show, we refer to emasculation as sopranoization. I'm going to hell.
Yeah, we all are. Sorry.
So, Kraft is only known to have killed once more in 73. The victim was 23-year-old bisexual art student Vincent Cruz Mestas, whose body was found in the San Bernardino Mountains on December 29th. As had been the case with several previous victims, one of the victim's socks had been shoved up into his rectum. Mestas' hands had been severed from his body, were never found. By November of 74, a further 5 victims had been found beside or close to mass transportation in Southern California, 3 of which had been conclusively linked to the same killer. 2 of these victims were 20-year-old Malcolm Eugene Little and 19-year-old James Dale Reeves. They had each been found beside a freeway with foreign objects inserted in their bodies, whereas the body of the third victim, which was a 18-year-old Marine Roger Edward Dickerson, bore evidence of bite marks, much like some of the earlier victims.
So there's a thing that's happening here too with the cops. They consider them gay killings, and they consider them the reason why they really didn't look too much into the killings until they actually caught him. And when we get to how they caught him, you're going to be surprised. They consider it just Liz. We're changing her name real fast. They considered it gay killings, and they considered a just an outcome of the lifestyle. You know, it was bondage that went too far.
And we have cookies, not pineapples.
Exactly.
This guy deserves a pineapple.
The police actually considered it literally like this was just what happens because they supposedly in the gay community they're into a lot of bondage and a lot of pain and stuff like that. So it just went too far. So they died, and random gay people are just throwing these people on the side of the road. It's pretty fucked up.
Natalie says, were they all left socks? I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever had that question answered. They say that if you were to do anything to remove the head is where people hold the most identity. Oh, yeah, if you remove the head.
Yeah. The head.
So,
that's where your teeth are. That's where they do the dental records, all that stuff. Hands for fingerprints. And
January 3rd, 1975, Kraft abducted and murdered a 17-year-old high school student named John Laris. He was last seen boarding a bus in Long Beach. His strangled body was found the following day, discarded at Sunset Beach with a foreign object protruding from his anus. Which, by the way, I want to say that it was actually, where is it? There was actually...
He named one of them Harikari?
Yeah, and that one was never discovered.
Oh, wow.
That's Wilmington.
So the reason why we call them the Scorecard Killers, we're actually going through it right now.
I'm looking at his scorecard right now.
He actually named them.
There we go.
Different names, and he kept the scorecard underneath his floor mats in his car.
So in the scorecard, John Williams Laris was actually called Skates. His body was found in the water at Sunset Beach. Cause of death was strangulation. A wooden surveyor's stake was found in his rectum. The day before his body was found, he was seen getting off of a bus near Ripples, carrying his skates. And Kraft went to Ripples quite often during that time. 2 different sets of footprints were found in the sand, indicating that he was carried from a car and dumped into the water.
It's insane, man.
So,
I mean, you think about like to just throw someone away like trash. This is a real socio-fucking bathroom.
Oh yeah. Should I go into the scorecard right now?
No, let's finish this. We can do that part 2 tomorrow night.
Okay.
We got to get through this.
So let's see here. Drag marks along the beach, close to his body, had been indicated that there were 2 people that carried him. So the second person, by the way, was never found.
More than likely, it was his living room boyfriend at the time.
Yeah.
Again, this is reminiscent of BTK and his wife. Even though BTK's wife got off, they didn't go after her. She fucking knew what BTK was doing.
So 2 weeks later, on January 17th, the body of a 21-year-old named Craig Jonitis was found discarded in the parking lot of the Golden Sails Hotel near PCH. What?
Natalie. Liz, did you say nipples?
I don't think I did. I don't think I did. Did I? So, it was in Long Beach. It was near PCH and Loina's Drive in Long Beach. He had been strangled to death with a length of string, possibly his shoelace. The reason why that is important is actually when he was found, he was redressed with everything, including his shoes, except for his shoelaces. So he probably made a garrote out of the shoelaces. And so the investigation, by January of 75, a total of 14 victims whose body had been found discarded across 4 separate counties within the previous 3 years had been linked to the same killer. All the victims had been white males with similar physical characteristics. On January 24th, homicide investigators from several jurisdictions in Southern California convened in Orange County to discuss the progress on the hunt for this unknown killer. An FBI profile of the killer was read to investigators, describing the individual as methodical, organized, and it is a lust killing. These are lust killings.
Yeah.
Above average intelligence, who exhibits an indifference to the interests and welfare of society. Some investigators believe the murders to be the work of more than one individual, one or more of whom had military background. 2 victims' bodies had tissue paper residue in their noses, conforming to a known military procedure to prevent bodies from purging after death. The placing of socks inside of the rectums was also theorized to be a method used by the killer to prevent purging, as the body was driven to disposal locations. At this stage, investigators had no solid suspects, though. Murder of Keith Crotwell. On the evening of March 29th, 1975, Kraft lured 2 young men, Keith Crotwell and Kent May, from a Long Beach parking lot to his Ford Mustang.
This is where he escalated. He was escalating with brutality was one thing, but this is where he actually started kind of getting a little sloppy.
He supplied them with beer and Valium, and drove them in a bunch of random, directionless ways over to his house in Belmont Shores. He later recalled feeling catatonic as a result of the Valium and alcohol he had ingested before he passed out. So, apparently he was partaking as well.
Mm-hmm.
In the parking lot where Crotwell and May had last been seen, 2 friends had observed a very distinctive black and white Mustang rapidly enter and draw to a halt before the driver leaned across the open passenger door and pushed the unconscious but otherwise unharmed May from the rear seat onto the pavement. The driver then sped away from the scene. As he did so, the friends noted Crotwell slumped against the unknown driver's shoulder. On May 8th, Crotwell's skull was found in a jetty close to the Long Beach Marina. The remainder of his body was found 6 months later.
Yeah, so
Upon hearing the news, the 2 friends of Crotwell and May suspected the murderer to have been a patron of the Belmont Shore gay bar. They scoured their neighborhood for the distinctive Mustang that they had observed. Upon locating the vehicle less than 1 mile from their house, they noted that the license plate number, noted the license plate number and relayed it to the police. The registration was traced to Kraft. Now, this is where he started getting really sloppy.
He started getting comfortable as hell because he was getting away with it for so long.
The sock up the ass is considered lustful.
Yes.
It was a very sexy sock.
It was a very sexy sock. Steve, you gotta go to Steve's comment.
Only in California.
Only in California.
Yay, California!
Yay!
Maybe it was a nylon sock. Oh gosh, or fishnet.
Or fishnet.
From Beverly Hills.
You know how morbid all of us are. Dear God, to actually go into this.
From the red light district?
Is there a red light district in Los Angeles?
No, there's not.
There should be.
Oh. Maybe it had to do with those sexy sock garters. Oh, okay, so the interrogation and release. Long Beach police questioned Kraft about Crotwell's abduction and murder on May 19th of 75. Initially, he denied ever meeting him or May. And then the police were pretty skeptical about that denial. And they asked him to come to the station for more questioning. There he admitted that on or around March 29th, he had encountered the 2 young men in a Long Beach parking lot and had persuaded them to drink with him and take some Valium. He claimed to have returned May to the parking lot and then had driven with Crotwell to a side road close to the El Toro off-ramp, where his car subsequently became embedded upon an embankment. He claimed to have walked alone to a gas station to call a tow truck while Crotwell remained with his car. Upon returning to his vehicle, he had disappeared. Kraft's roommate was able to verify to detectives that Kraft had phoned him on the date of Crotwell's disappearance, claiming his vehicle was stuck on an embankment. Detectives remained unconvinced with Kraft's overall version of the events. Now, this is where it starts lending to the idea that his roommate was involved in these murders.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office dismissed the detective's request, citing that the coroner's conclusion from the autopsy of the remains, because it was just the skull at that point, suggested that he had died of an accidental drowning. Now, I'm just going to put this out there. How the fuck do you figure that out when there's no lungs? How do you figure out that somebody died from a drowning when there's no lungs to judge from?
But you do have sharks in Long Beach and stuff like that.
They don't give... Then they would have said shark attack.
Look, this is the whole point.
And no, we have...
This is the whole...
Okay, some sharks.
This is the whole idea of... They look at this as a gay killing. They're like, this is the lifestyle, we're not going to worry with it. Who cares? This is the 70s and like early 80s. It was a messed up time in with this stuff. They did not look into killings and stuff like that.
So perhaps because Kraft had been questioned as a suspect in Crotwell's murder, and because of the additional turmoil in his personal life that summer, Kraft is not known to have killed again until December 31st, when he abducted a 22-year-old named Mark Hall from San Juan Capistrano. In this murder, later described by prosecution as the worst of all of his known murders...
Dufresne.
Stop.
Dufresne.
Stop.
San Juan Capistrano.
That's not at all what they said in there.
What did they say? Shawshank Redemption?
No.
Wasn't San Juan Capistrano?
Not at all.
What did they say?
It's in Mexico, not in California.
San Juantaneo. It was San Juantaneo. And
There's no San. It's a Z.
I don't know.
Anyway, guys.
Sorry, I love Shawshank. I love Shawshank Redemption. It's one of my favorite movies
In
of
this
all time.
murder, which was later described by prosecutors as the worst of all of his known murders, the man was driven to a remote canyon where he was bound to a tree. The autopsy report lists that the cause of death was asphyxiation caused by leaves and
Dirt.
Foliage. Why are you grunting me?
No, it
Found
was,
lodge in his trachea.
it was leaves, dirt, foliage, everything on the ground,
Yeah.
and it was right after he was done.
Well, hold on.
This is
Hold
where we're
on.
getting
Hold on. The autopsy also revealed that Hall had been sodomized and emasculated, which it was actually he was emasculated and then sodomized because... Hold on. Guys, this is going to have to happen.
Trigger warning. Because this is fucked up.
So, basically, he cut off his dick and shoved it up his ass while he was still alive.
Isn't this the one where they cut off the eyelid?
Additionally,
too?
his chest, scrotum, nose, and cheeks had been burned with a automobile cigarette lighter. His eyes being destroyed by the same object. Other injuries noted in the autopsy included the several incisions across his legs, which had been inflicted with a broken bottle. They also deduced that Hall had been alive through all of it until he passed out from the pain.
Was this the one where they cut
No.
off? Okay.
No. He was the one that he burnt his eyelids off.
They, what I was reading earlier, listening to earlier, like on a, I think it was Sarah Director's podcast, but it was constant. He would basically keep lighting the cigarette lighter, going over to him, and it was all over his body, all over. Like he was just constantly burning this one.
So, his relationship with Jeff Seelig, and this I think is going to be where we end up. We will do this. Actually,
Oh, those those fucking assholes, Beast and
Beast
Jugs.
and Jugs might continue, or we might just shove them into a closet. I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
Depends. But anyway, by 1976, Kraft had ended his relationship with Graves. Shortly thereafter, he began a relationship with a 19-year-old apprentice baker named Jeff Seelig, and the couple moved to Laguna Hills. Although neither man was inclined towards monogamy, the couple considered their relationship permanent. Seelig later informed investigators that he and Kraft had regularly picked up and propositioned hitchhikers who, if willing, would accompany them to their apartment for a threesome. However, Seelig was adamant that Kraft had never been violent towards him and that he had never seen him display any violent tendencies.
They had a very open relationship, but at the same time, that is very skeptical because it's like, okay, you guys have an open relationship. You drove out in the middle of nowhere to pick him up when you said your car is broken down, and all of a sudden out of nowhere, like, you guys are like, well, what happened here? Oh, I just picked him up, and the kid went on, and then your live-in boyfriend at the time corroborated the story. Kraft never had a relationship with Graves. Guy wasn't too keen on burying his dad.
Okay, there's something wrong with our mouse right now. Why are we doing all this shoving stuff?
Yeah, there's a lot of shoving.
Dog and shark, Scooby-Doo, Jabberjaw crossover.
Yep.
Stop poking me.
I scratched my arm. I'm sorry. So, all right, this is what we're gonna.
Not done yet.
Oh, this is not
Did
done
not
yet.
finish that.
Sorry.
So, Kraft's relationship with Seelig was believed to be a contributory factor in the sudden lull of murders that he is known to have committed. He's not known to have committed any murders again until December of 76. The body of 19-year-old Paul Joseph Fuchs has never been found. Nonetheless, Fuchs is named clearly on his scorecard.
Now, the one thing he wanted, and it didn't specify in our notes here, with his past boyfriend, he wanted a stable relationship. Even though they agreed to have an open relationship, he deep down inside wanted a stable relationship. He wanted to have, he wanted to move on to marriage and everything else. Now, he got that with the next one, so that stopped him from killing a lot of stuff because there wasn't the stress there anymore. What starts him back up again, he started having stress again in his relationship. Every time he had stress, he had to go out and kill.
Well, you know what? We have 4 minutes. Let me go into this guy real fast. A little bit. So, well, no, I won't.
Let's go and stop here. We'll go ahead.
If you guys didn't know this, my maiden name is Hughes. This actually plays into one of the murders here because it literally took place where I lived. I mean, this was before I was born, but this literally took place right where I lived, and my last name is Hughes, and so was the victims.
Yep.
All right, guys. I think we're gonna end a couple minutes early.
You want to go through some comments real fast?
But all right, so
CBD Scooby-Doo snacks.
yes,
They do exist.
I had them for our boxer. That's a sore subject still.
Oh, Ashley
Jinky Steve, we have a mystery to solve.
I did see a comment earlier from Ashley saying technology nowadays have actually stifled serial killers, basically.
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
The reason why I think that we don't hear about them as much, and I'm not just saying I think this, it's known, is that they don't want to sensationalize them anymore. Because people get this, like...
Because...
They start following... It's the whole thing, like, when they...
Even to this date...
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead. No.
When they sensationalized Bundy, when they sensationalized the Manson family, people... Like, the loonies would come out, and they wanted to be part of it.
Like us, we have a show to run, so we need content. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Anyway...
no, but at the same time, it's... Even still to this day,
gotta go.
The FBI still states there's about 30 to 40 serial killers active in the United States. And right now in our hometown, or my hometown, there is at least one or two, because bodies keep popping up. And
in a similar manner to the Scorecard Killer, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys. Thank you, Natalie.
Bye, Natalie.
Thank you, Kenny. Actually, this lovely woman right here made them.
Yes. Made what?
The commercials.
Yes. Natalie makes everything awesome. Like, I try video editing and it looks nasty. Then Natalie's like, hey, Frank, look what I can do. I'm like, this is amazing.
Thank you so much, Kisa.
Yeah.
Thank you,
guys.
Beth. Aw.
Thank you,
I'm glad.
Beth.
Thank you, Calvin.
Calvin, you're awesome. Calvin makes me laugh. He tags me in some funny stuff throughout the days. It's awesome. I laugh.
Now we
hard.
sensationalize spree killers instead. Yeah, kind of.
We do.
Have a wonderful night, Stormbringer.
Class Stormbringer.
Yeah, I think a lot get caught much sooner now. Definitely.
They do.
Why can't they just retire? Actually, the original Night Stalker did.
The original Night Stalker was never caught.
Yeah, he was.
Well, no.
Yes,
I'm
he
thinking
was.
I'm thinking Zodiac. I'm sorry. Didn't they consider him the Night Stalker too?
No.
No, you're right. You're right.
Joseph D'Angelo?
They caught him
A few years ago.
only a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Yep. He did retire because he
Thank you.
sounds fucked up because he couldn't
Thank
get it up
you.
anymore.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
You guys are all awesome. All right, guys.
We're out.
Have a wonderful
Peace
night.
and jugs. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Possibly. I don't know what's going
Who
on
knows?
with them.
This is Mikey from Out of the Ordinary, and you're watching PBDC TV.
Oh, hi! First thing in the morning, when I'm listening to music and getting a little bit of time for some creepy research, I'm always representing with my PBDC merch. What a better way to have a cup of coffee in the morning.
Don't forget to check out our other cool merch at rootsbleedred.com. That's rootsbleedred.com.
This is Professor Edgar Fluffosaurus from Spooky Tales with Steve the Cat, and when I'm not hosting Monster Chat or knocking down small Japanese cities, I'm watching PBDC TV. Now back to the show.
Warning, the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers and or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Boobies.
Hey, Natalie.
Hey, Natalie.
Hey, Calvin.
We're tired.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yep.
All right, so thanks, Otis.
Otis!
Fuck yeah.
Beast and Jugs are tired, so...
No, like, they tried to fight us for a
They got
spot,
locked
and
away.
we won.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to be continuing talking about Randy Kraft.
I keep wanting to say Randy Blythe. We're going
Please
to talk
don't
about
say that.
Randy...
Let's not. There is something we're missing.
Yeah. The scorecard. The actual scorecard that we're actually going to go over. The one thing I put in the actual description.
Oh, son of a bitch.
It's in my messages.
How far?
I don't know. Right there. Scorecard. Right there.
That's not it.
Anyway,
Give me one moment, guys. Sorry
we'll get
about
the scorecard
that.
up here in a second.
I'm gonna grab that right now.
Oh, she's gonna grab that right now.
Buddy didn't leave their Facebook up.
I don't leave my Facebook up. I'm sorry.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
You always do.
You always do.
I always have to close it.
You're a towel.
It really will not let me click on names right now.
Okay, you were like clicking a whole bunch of stuff right now.
I clicked on it like 20 times because it wasn't clicking.
All right.
Give me a minute, guys.
Right there. Booyah.
That's not it.
That's what you sent me.
Okay, here we go. All right, so we're going to... Thank you. Sorry, guys.
Yay.
You
Hey.
guys, eagle titties. All right, so following... Okay, we left off yesterday. We were talking about his relationship with Jeff Seelig, where Jeff had said, he wasn't ever violent with him. And that was about a time when the murders seemed to have taken a little bit of a lull.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to start off with when he came back. And this was in 1976. He murdered...
That's when he got the band back together.
Yeah, basically. Excuse me. After 1976, he wasn't known to have killed any more victims until January of 78.
Yep.
So, homicide investigators convened again to discuss the progress in relation to the manhunt for the still unidentified killer.
Natalie, I hit all my socks.
Little bit.
Little bit. While you're reading that, I'm going to share out too. I forgot to do that.
Well, then
I don't know I'm sorry, you're reading.
you always end up looking down and it looks like you're not interested.
Oh, I'm playing Sisters of Mercy on accident. Well,
All right, so by this stage, the investigators knew that there was more than one murderer at large. Previously, in July, police had arrested Patrick Kearney, who subsequently confessed to the murders of 28 boys and young men, many of whom he actually dissected. Hey, Kisa!
Hi, Kisa!
So yeah, many of whom he actually dissected and then discarded in trash bags next to the freeways in Southern California. And Kraft, even though he did dismember some of the victims' bodies, he never really killed any of his victims by shooting them in the temple. And that was Kearney's MO. Additionally, Kearney had never tortured any of his victims. His modus operandi was significantly different from Kraft's. The investigators were certain that an altogether separate killer was still at large. And they were right. Hey, Bobby, what's up?
Alberto, I literally just sent that to him right now.
What's up, Bobby?
Bobby, I have a
I wear
handlebar
flip-flops,
mustache now.
I'm good. What's up? Yeah, Bobby, you gotta hang out again soon.
Roboito.
So, on April 16, 1978, Kraft abducted an 18-year-old Marine named Scott Michael Hughes. Hi, Robert.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey, hi.
So, this is the one that I said was kind of hits close to home for me because it literally has my
On your
maiden name.
And it was found on your street.
Yeah, and it was found right there on the
sorry,
street.
he was found on your street.
Yeah. So the victim's name is Scott Michael Hughes. Hughes was given a lot of Valium. And then Kraft split him open. Split open his scrotum, actually. And removed one of his testicles.
You know, that's how there's two people combined with that. You know that, right? That's how it's
stitching.
It's the stitching. It's where they stitch guys up when we're being made. Because we're actually two people put together.
Fucking Family Guy. So I'm really freaked out that this line down my scrotum means that I'm two people stitched together in one. That's a bit creepy. I don't know. Maybe I should do this again. Trigger warning. So, Kraft split open his scrotum, removed one of his testicles, and then strangled him to death with a ligature before discarding his body fully clothed, missing one of his shoelaces. Oh, excuse me, both of them.
Yep.
Beside the freeway on-ramp in Anaheim, and this was the on-ramp going from Euclid onto the 91.
Later on, after this, Kraft did move on to become the Mighty Ducks manager. And...
No. None of that happened. Jesus. Let's not. So, 2 months later, on June 11th, the body of 23-year-old Roland Gerald Young was found near San Diego Freeway. Young had been emasculated before he was stabbed to death. Little bit! What's up? Wait, clicked on the wrong one. God, they come through fast.
That's what she said.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's a good thing to... That's what she said. So, he had abrasions on his body that indicated that he was thrown from a moving vehicle that was traveling at high speeds. And 8 days later, the body of a 20-year-old Camp Pendleton Marine named Keith Allen... Excuse me. I went dyslexic. Richard Allen Keith was found discarded beside the road in Moulton Parkway. Welts on his wrists indicate that he had been bound before he was strangled with a ligature. Froth in his throat indicate that he was drowning as a result of fluorazepam and alcohol that he had consumed at the time that he was strangled.
There's one thing here that actually does kind of show that he did have an accomplice. You cannot drive a car and then throw someone from the passenger seat.
Yeah.
You know, it's physically impossible.
I've said several times that there's definitely other people that have been helping him. I don't think it's more than one accomplice.
It was his ex, and then he probably groomed his new boyfriend into helping him.
Maybe. I mean, I really don't think that he did any of this by himself.
Oh, well, look at Dean Corll.
Well, but look at the last victim that was found in Huntington Beach, where they had 2 sets of feet, like footprints in the sand, and there were drag marks. So,
yeah,
the guy was already dead.
He was.
Wasn't he decapitated?
Yeah, yeah.
So
it's not easy to drag a dead body from somewhere. Not that I know this from experience. I'm just saying.
So, 3 weeks after the murder of Keith, on July 6th, Kraft killed 23-year-old hitchhiker named Keith Arthur Klingbeil. Klingbeil had ingested large doses of paracetamol. I'm not really sure what that is, to be honest.
I don't know either.
And alcohol before he was strangled with his own shoelace. His body was discarded beside the 5 freeway. And although Klingbeil was still alive when discovered, he died shortly after he went into the hospital, Mission Community Hospital. A subsequent autopsy revealed that prior to his strangulation, his left nipple had been seared with a car lighter.
That's another one of his MOs right there. It's just what he had on hand.
Sorry, I have an itch here.
Yep.
So 2 months later, on September 29th, now mind you, this is getting back into like berserker mode.
You know, well, serial killers do take their time off. Some of them will go for years and years and years.
He
you
went
know.
about 16 months.
Year and a half.
So, 2 months later, on September 29th, the body of 20-year-old Richard Anthony Crosby was found discarded 200 yards north of Highway 71 in San Bernardino County. Crosby had disappeared the previous day as he hitchhiked home from a theater in Torrance. He died of suffocation. His left nipple had been mutilated with an automobile lighter. The last known victim claimed by Kraft in 1978 was 21-year-old Long Beach truck driver Michael Joseph Eiderbeiten. Inderbeaten?
I'm sorry.
Inderbeaten, whose castrated body was found beside the San Diego freeway on November 18th, 1978. In addition to having been castrated, he had been violated with a foreign object, suffered burns similar to those inflicted upon Mark Hall 2 years previously. And if you guys don't remember what that was the lighter.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again while he was hung upside down.
Yep.
And the official cause of death was listed as suffocation.
All right, let's get some
Yeah.
comments real fast. That makes me hurt. I got 2 of those.
I'm guessing it's the lighter.
Yep.
So you would
Okay,
have to
hello,
have
Rebecca.
2 people or even 3. Someone has to drive, the other has to open and shut the door, and they would both have to push him out of the truck.
The body count,
Yeah.
the suspected body count alone, the fact that he had 60 or roughly almost 70 kills under his belt, shows that he had someone helping him. It's hard to do stuff like that. I mean, the Green River Killer, Gary Ridgway, was one of the few serial killers who had a lot of them.
So a little bit says, I suffocated him with my boobs.
Oh yeah, it's really really hard to do that. Like Dean Coral had a lot of in Texas. He had a lot of kills under his belt, but he also had 4 accomplices too.
Didn't mean to violate him that bad.
Yeah.
No, I got 2 nips. That's what she meant.
Oh, for like lighters, okay.
I'm like, cool. Also, there has to be a lookout. That's
Yes.
right, Rebecca. I
He-
agree.
Because he did all of his stuff out in public mostly, or not public, but he did it out in the woods and stuff like that.
No, it was pretty public.
I thought it was mostly like woods and back roads and stuff.
No. That's what we said yesterday.
you're right. Yeah, you're
was
right.
that he was pretty forward with a lot of it.
Yep.
I mean, he even went as far as to find those 2 in the parking lot that were hanging out with their friends, invited them into the car, and he let one go, just inebriated, and then the other one he murdered.
A little bit Otis
Oh,
was
this is my lookout. So, some later murders. Kraft was not known to have killed again until June 16th, 1979, when he abducted a 20-year-old Marine named Donnie Harold Kressel. His body was thrown from a moving vehicle onto the 405. The cause of death was listed as acute alcohol poisoning, although and there were rope burns and burn marks, and he had obviously been bound and tortured prior to his body being discarded.
Mm-hmm.
2 months later, on August 29th, the dismembered body of an unidentified male, estimated to be somewhere between 18 and 30, was found placed in 2 trash bags behind Union 76 gas station in Long Beach. The entry on the scorecard simply read 76, is believed to refer to this victim, although only the head and torso and left leg were ever found. This victim, like several others, had a sock jammed inside of his rectum. 2 weeks later, September 14th, the body of 20-year-old Gregory Wallace Jolly was found in Lake Arrowhead. Think about that next time you drink Arrowhead water.
Yeah.
Jolly had been emasculated, and his head and legs had been severed after death, but he was emasculated before death. His personal possessions were later found at Kraft's home. You thought I was going to say up his ass.
Are you saying that's? I mean, that's where we are going here. That's what he did. That was his MO. Especially was it Rebecca yesterday who brought it up, and Ashley.
By the way, your mustache is rocking today. Kelly, what's up?
Yeah. Thank you.
That boy shouldn't have been smart with me.
That was
Randy.
that was his MO with so he can keep the leakage from happening.
What's up, Calvin?
Died smiling.
Yep. Well, because Little Bit is strangling them with her boobs. Alright,
We can't
so-
show this picture either. They got a picture of one of the victims. Or is that no?
Yeah, that's one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, he had... Okay, I'll get to that in a second. So on November 24th, 1979, a 15-year-old Santa Ana boy named Jeffrey Sayer is believed to have been abducted and murdered by Kraft. Sayer was last seen at the bus stop in Westminster as he traveled home from a date with his girlfriend. The entry, Westminster date, on Kraft's scorecard is referring to him. On February 18th, 1980, the decapitated body of a 19-year-old Marine named Mark Allen Marsh was found near the Templin Highway. Marsh was last seen hitchhiking towards Buena Park, which was my stomping grounds growing up.
I didn't realize this was not done on purpose. The band Kraft.
That's funny.
I
His hands had also been severed after death.
Wow.
Go ahead.
I did not mean to wear the band Kraft shirt. It's spelled differently.
Pretty funny.
C-R-A-F-T.
So, now we're getting into some of the murders in Portland.
This is actually where he gets sloppy, because this is where they started realizing when he went to Portland to do stuff, they're like, these guys, this is not something that happens over here.
I think I want to get to the scorecard soon.
Yeah. Let's just talk about the Portland murders and we'll get to the scorecard.
So in the summer of 1980, Kraft traveled to the neighboring state of Oregon as part of a contractual assignment delegated to him by his employers. Throughout the duration of his deployment, he resided in a town close to Portland before he returned back to California in August. He's believed to have claimed 2 more victims while he was in Portland, both of whom were listed on his scorecard with cryptic references, including the word Portland, which the first victim was 17-year-old Denver youth named Michael Sean O'Fallon. He was killed on July 17th. O'Fallon had been hitchhiking by himself across the U.S. and Canada prior to his enrollment in college at the time of his murder. He was given alcohol and Valium before he was strangled to death. There is a nude, hog-tied, or there's a photo of him here, but he was found hog-tied, naked, and discarded 10 miles south of Salem. He was listed on the scorecard as Portland, Denver. The following day...
Oh, he actually used... Oh, no, he's from Denver, sorry.
No,
Yep.
Yeah. The following day, he's believed to have killed a man estimated to be somewhere between 35 and 45, which was not usually his M.O., whose body was found beside a freeway in the city of Woodburn, which, by the way, is the place I was looking at for us to move originally.
Yeah.
Because their cost of living there is not bad.
No, actually, Oregon's cost of living is actually pretty low, with the exception of Portland.
Yeah.
Portland is astronomically high.
So...
you think even higher than San Francisco.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, the victim was listed as Portland Elk on the scorecard, and he had ingested a toxic level of Tylenol and Valium before he was strangled to death. That's a lot of Tylenol.
You know, another thing, too, this is telling of the times, like, in the late 70s and early 80s, people, the vast majority of these people were not, they were partying with him. They were taking those pills willingly.
Yeah.
And they just mixed everything together, and he just kept handing it to him and let him do it.
Yeah.
So...
Here we go. Oh, wow. So, on September 3rd, 1980, a month after his return to California from Oregon, the bound body of a 19-year-old Marine named Robert Loggins was found discarded in a trash bag located close to El Toro Marine Base.
Is he,
No, he's not.
He's not relation?
Nope.
He's not?
Nope.
Not one bit, are you sure?
Yep.
You telling me he's not related to
He
Mr.
is not.
Top Gun?
It's
himself,
spelled different.
Kenny Loggins.
It is spelled different. I was trying to stop you.
I've been through the danger zone or some shit. I don't know.
Anyway.
I tear up every time I hear that song. It's so cool.
So, Loggins was last seen alive with 2 fellow Marines close to PCH on August 23rd. Photographs and the negatives subsequently found in Kraft's possession depict Loggins in Kraft's living room slumped fully clothed on his sofa, apparently intoxicated.
I can't show that.
Why not? He's not naked at all.
I can't show that. Look at the look, he's peed himself and everything.
Okay.
Or not showing that.
There's literally nothing showing.
I
in that
know.
picture.
Let's just not even take a chance. There's a picture of him. If you guys want to go look, just look it up.
So, then there are more photos with pornographic postures. All these pictures are depicting Loggins with his eyes closed. So, they're not really sure if he was dead or alive when this was taken.
Yeah.
On April 10th in 81, the body of 17-year-old Michael Cluck was found beside I-5, close to the community of Goshen, Oregon. Cluck had been abducted as he was hitchhiking from Kent, Washington to Bakersfield, California.
Son of a bitch.
The day prior to his body being discovered, he had been killed by 31 blows to the head, each inflicted by a blunt instrument which had destroyed the rear of his cranium. In addition, Cluck had been sodomized, and his body had been savagely beaten, kicked, and scoured. He is believed to have been recorded on the scorecard as Portland Blood, due to the extensive amount of blood and debris found at the murder scene. At the time of the murder, Kraft is known to have again been deployed by his employer to Oregon. In addition, on the day of Cluck's body's discovery, Kraft is also known to have visited Lane County Hospital to receive treatment for a bruised foot. Echo Park.
It's a
Little bit, you're awesome.
I don't mess with behinds. That's funny.
Did he keep stuff from the victims? Yes.
Yes.
He was taking Polaroids.
It was mostly Polaroids and stuff like that.
No, it wasn't just Polaroids though. He was keeping items.
I thought he did.
Shoes.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Stuff like that.
But his main thing was his scorecard, which is the reason why they called him the Scorecard Killer.
Yep. So, by early 82, the relationship between Kraft and Selig had become marred by lots of fighting. And they decided to have a temporary separation. In an effort to resolve their personal differences, the couple began attending weekly counseling sessions in Huntington Beach. These sessions began on the 22nd of June in 82. Following complaints from residents of Echo Park regarding the foul odor emanating from the direction of the Hollywood Freeway, though, on July 29th in 82, a Caltrans employee found the badly decaying body of a 14-year-old Pittsburgh boy named Raymond Davis, discarded along the Rampart Boulevard off-ramp. Rudimentary efforts had been made to conceal Davis's body beneath leaves and soil. He had last been seen alive in Echo Park on June 17th, searching for his missing dog. His wrists had been bound behind his back, in much the same manner as Michael O'Fallon had been 2 years prior, and he had been strangled to death with his own shoelace. The entry on the scorecard is called Dog.
A little bit. Are all these people guys? Yes.
Yes.
They're all men. He was gay.
Yeah. So Kraft is not known to have killed again until November, when he abducted and murdered a 24-year-old Modesto man named Arnie Mikhail Lane. Lane was last seen hitchhiking towards Orange County in search of work. His body was not found until January of 84. It was discarded on a hillside close to the town of Ramona. 4 weeks after Lane's murder, the semi-nude body of a 26-year-old named Brian Witcher was dumped from a moving vehicle along the 5 freeway close to a city called Wilsonville in Oregon. Witcher had ingested high levels of both Valium and alcohol, but he died of asphyxiation. So, on December 3rd of 82, 29-year-old carpenter named Anthony Jose Silveira disappeared while hitchhiking towards Medford. His body was found 2 weeks later, strangled, sodomized, and bearing evidence of having been violated with foreign objects prior to his murder. At the time of the murders of both Witcher and Silveira, Kraft was again known to have been in Oregon on a business trip, which concluded the day of Silveira's death. On December 4th, Kraft is known to have driven from Portland to Seattle to visit some friends. Throughout this brief visit, he was observed wearing a military jacket inscribed with the name Silveira on it. On December 5th, Kraft flew from Seattle to Grand Rapids, Michigan, on business. So, 2 days after his arrival in Grand Rapids, Kraft encountered cousins Dennis Alt and Christopher Schoenborn as the trio attended a seminar in the Amway Grand Plaza Hotel. Kraft was observed conversing with the pair at the reception area of the hotel shortly before midnight. Their bodies were discovered on December 9th in an open field close to the hotel. Both victims had been given lots of Valium and alcohol prior to them being sodomized and murdered. The bodies had been arranged in a sexually suggestive position. Alt was 24. He had died of asphyxiation. And Schoenborn was 20, and he had been strangled to death with his own belt. In addition, a ballpoint pen had been inserted into Schoenborn's urethra prior to his murder.
Oh, dear God.
Both victims were recorded upon Kraft's scorecard in a single entry, GR2. A set of keys belonging to Schoenborn, plus Silveira's military jacket, were left by Kraft in the hotel. On December 8th. Now, see, this is how he's getting really sloppy.
Yeah, he's doing two people at once, basically. He made this mistake before, and it almost got him popped. Which is actually when he did.
Well, that's not what I meant, actually. Oh. I'm talking about he left the jacket from Silveira, and he left the keys from Schoenborn. Hey, Tom, what's up?
Tim! What's going on? Oh, crap, I forgot to send it to Tom. I really did. I normally send it all out. Ugh.
So...
But Tom showed up anyway.
On December 8th... Well, you know what? Let me play a commercial real fast.
Yeah, let's do a commercial real fast.
Let's do this one. We'll be right back.
We're back.
Hey.
Oh, yay.
All right, so... Okay, so on December 8th, Kraft traveled from Michigan to Portland. Within 24 hours of his return, he killed a 19-year-old hitchhiker named Lance Taggs. Taggs had last been seen hitchhiking from Tigard to the home of a relative in L.A. His body was discovered the following day, discarded along Clackamas. It was a road in Clackamas County.
Well, I don't know where that's at.
That's in Oregon.
Hi, Sykes!
Close to where the body of Witcher had been found just 2 weeks earlier. As had been the case with Alt and Schoenborn and Taggs, they had all been given Valium and alcohol prior to their murder. Although Taggs had died of suffocation caused by a sock thrusted into his trachea.
See, he changed up his MO.
What's up, Sykes?
Tom said what I said too. The skull sounds like it says "alar." I was like,
know.
right?
Oh yeah, Otis is seeing that he's not seeing the comments either. You know what I usually do is I make him go away and then make him come back.
Or back out and then come back in. That's how I get him to work too.
What's up? I want spaghetti. he had to have had help with killing 2 people, even if they
Yeah.
were doped up. They still would have fought him. Well, on Valium, not necessarily fighting them, but for me, it's the whole dragging them places.
Yeah.
So, noting the passage of time between periods of activity when bodies of young men were found discarded near mass transportation with alcohol and or pharmaceuticals in their bloodstream in Oregon, investigators there theorized that their killer resided in another state and struck in Oregon only when they're on business. Following the murders of Silviera, Witcher, and Tags, Oregon investigators relayed details of the murders to police in other states, describing the modus operandi of the killer that they were seeking and requesting feedback from any other police forces who possibly had unsolved murders of young men with very similar characteristics. A response from Southern California counties was swift. The pattern of killings was identical to victims linked all over California. And then the 6 Oregon murders committed by Kraft were thus linked to the murders that had been committed all over California.
This is finally when California took it seriously, or LAPD and stuff like that took it seriously.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, mind you, this has already been a span of almost, 10 years?
Yeah.
In 1983, it started in 73. And
76, I think.
76 or whatever. But this is when LAPD finally was like, all right.
It took forever for them to actually take it seriously.
But Oregon, the troopers and all that there, they literally were like right on the top of it. They were like, no, there was something going on here. Regardless of their sexuality, we still need to look into this and make sure what's going on here.
Well, so Kraft didn't kill again until January 27th of 83, when he abducted a 21-year-old hitchhiker named Eric Church. Isn't that the name of some country singer?
I don't know.
The victim was last seen alive hitchhiking from Orange County to Sacramento the day prior to his murder. His body was found discarded along the 605. An autopsy concluded that Church had ingested high levels of alcohol and Valium and then been sodomized. There were rope marks on his wrists, indicating that he struggled against his restraints before he died, of a combination of ligature strangulation and numerous blows to the side of his skull inflicted by a blunt instrument.
A little bit. Are you two hanging out after the show? Yes, my boobs hanging all the time.
Tom, I actually have a dog walk to go on.
I'll be here.
But yeah. So, final murder and arrest. Should I go into the scorecard first?
No, let's do the final murder and
Okay.
arrest because this is actually pretty fucked up.
Here we go.
He was
At 1:10 a.m. on May 14th, 1983, 2 California Highway Patrol officers observed a Toyota Celica driving erratically on the I-5 in Mission Viejo. Observing the vehicle perform an illegal lane change, the officers suspected that the driver was drunk. They signaled for the vehicle to stop. The driver slowed the vehicle to a halt and exited the car, discarding the contents of a beer bottle onto the pavement as he did. Officer Michael Sterling met the individual, who identified himself as Randy Kraft, at the front of his patrol car and observed that his jeans were unbuttoned.
wasn't just that.
Sterling had Kraft perform a sobriety test, which he failed. Sterling arrested Kraft for drunk driving. Sterling's partner, Sergeant Michael Howard, approached the Celica and observed a young man slumped with his eyes closed in the passenger seat, partially covered by a jacket.
Arms.
Several empty Moosehead beer bottles and an open prescription bottle of lorazepam
I told you, Tom, not to drink that shit.
tablets were strewn all around his feet. Howard attempted to wake him up but didn't get any response to his verbal efforts. Howard attempted to arouse the man by shaking his arm, only to note that he had a low body temperature. Upon feeling for a pulse, he had noted that the man was dead, with ligature marks visibly encircling his neck. Lifting the jacket from the victim's lap, he noted that the victim's jeans had been opened to expose his genitalia. In addition, the victim's hands had been bound with a shoelace and his wrists bore evidence of welt marks. Later identified as Terry Lee Gambrell, a 25-year-old Marine stationed in El Toro, the victim had been strangled to death. Kraft was initially charged with driving under the influence of alcohol and was held in custody as detectives conducted a thorough search of his car. Upon the rear seat of the car, the investigators found a belt, the width of which matched the bruising around Gambrell's neck. Other incriminating evidence, including alcohol, tranquilizers, various prescription drugs, and stimulants. The passenger seat and carpet of the vehicle were heavily bloodstained. Gambrell had no open wounds, though. So the upholstery was removed for forensic analysis, the results of which confirmed the blood was human. Beneath the carpet, investigators discovered an envelope containing over 50 pictures of young men in pornographic poses. Many of the subjects in the pictures appeared either asleep or dead. Inside the trunk, investigators found a ring binder containing a handwritten list of coded notations.
Actually, so this is where the notes were messed up. They actually found it underneath.
That's not the scorecard.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. They found a scorecard underneath his formats. That's where he always kept it.
That's what they just said.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm not even listening. I'm sorry.
You're really not
I
listening.
apologize. But they actually did say too he was bound and all sort of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So let me get to where I'm going to say. I'm sorry. When the cops asked him, what's with your friend? It was like, and he's all, I don't know, see for yourself. That's how nonchalant he was about it. Like when it was literally like, I don't know, see for yourself, and he was dead, and it was like whatever, I got caught. Who cares?
Basically, yeah. So a search of his home revealed further incriminating evidence, including clothes and personal possessions of numerous young men that had been murdered over the last decade. Fibers taken from a rug matched those upon the victim, Scott Hughes. In addition, the couch in Kraft's living room was identified as the one that was in the photographs in the car. A roll of film discovered also depicting victims Eric Church and Roger DeVault sat in the car. One of these images clearly depicted ligature marks on DeVault's neck. So, the coded list of 61 neatly printed terms and phrases found in Kraft's car is believed to refer to each of the victims. Many of the entries appear pretty innocuous, but each of these is believed to refer to a specific number of or a double murder. Excuse me, a specific murder or a double murder. Several entries clearly refer to victims' names. For example, the entry EDM, Edward Daniel Moore. Vince M refers directly to Vincent Mestas. In other instances, entries indicated the torture or the mutilation that was inflicted on the victim, and the places that they were last seen. So, like
76.
Marine Head BP.
Yep.
That was when he was in Buena Park.
Mm-hmm.
For example, is believed to be Mark Marsh. He was a Marine. He was decapitated, and he was hitchhiking towards Buena Park. So other entries simply refer to the body dump locations, like Golden Sails. That was Craig Jonitis. Or some of the entries are very minimum, like the double murders GR2, and that was Dennis Alt and Christopher Schoenborn. So I'm going to actually pull up the scorecard here.
Mm-hmm.
This might be our entire rest of the thing.
Yep.
All right, so here we go.
You want to just go through the names because we basically have already discussed the murderers. We just
No, I have to.
oh, okay.
So Stable, October 5th. So the first word's going to be the cryptic word. The victim is going to be next, and then I may have a few comments about it.
Yeah.
So Stable was referring to the.
Oh, you got it.
I will. Gosh. Okay. So for the record, we found this information on thoughtco.com. So again, Stable is referring to his first known victim, Wayne Joseph Duquette, and that was because he was a bartender over at the Stable, at the bar that was next to where Kraft worked, actually. So his body, again, was found nude in South Orange County at the bottom of a ravine on Ortega Highway. He was killed September 20th. Cause of death was officially acute alcohol poisoning, but yeah. So Angel, they never found a connection. EDM, Edward Daniel Moore. He was a Marine that was based in Camp Pendleton. That was December 26, 1972. Cause of death, strangulation. He was found on the off-ramp of
405 going on to the 605, wasn't it?
No. But it was, well, yeah, it was 405 and 605 freeways in Seal Beach. He died 3 days before being found. Cause of death was strangulation. A sock was found inside his rectum. He was beaten in the face by a pipe, possibly. Dumped from a moving vehicle. There were ligature marks on his wrists and ankles, and there were deep fingernail scratches on his testicles, bite marks on his penis, and he was redressed. Harikari, there was never a connection made to that one. Airplane Hill, that was the one that was found in Huntington Beach. He was found nude. He's a John Doe. He was somewhere around 18 years old, and this was February 6, 1973. So cause of death was either blood loss or suffocation. There were ligature marks on his wrist. He was sodomized and emasculated prior to death. And I don't know why it says he was redressed, because he was found naked.
Don't know.
Marine Down. They never found who that was. Van Driveway. No connection. 2-in-1 MV2PL. No connection.
So, quick question real fast.
Yeah.
Is there anywhere on here that it says that this list was actually written in all of his handwriting, or was there multiple handwritings?
It was shown to be in his handwriting.
Okay. Because also this might also be more telling that there were people there too, with the fact that he was just with like the ones where it was like Marine Down and there's no connection, nothing, like they don't exactly know what's going on with that one. There might be other people involved in these killings. This came back the night and it was like, hey, I killed this person, and then he just wrote it down in his scorecard.
Maybe. So Twiggy. This is James Dale Reeves. He was 19. He was the one that was taken from Ripples. And that was his partially nude body was found in Irvine off the San Diego freeway. Cause of death was undetermined. There was a 3-inch round branch protruding from his rectum.
Wow.
And his body was posed in a Y position. Vince M. We discussed that one earlier. December 29th, 1973. Vincent Cruz Mestis. He was 23 years old. He was a Long Beach State University student.
Kraft lived a few blocks down from him.
Yeah, Kraft didn't live very far from him. His body was found at the bottom of a ravine in the San Bernardino Mountains, and he was strangled. His face had been shaved. There was a sock in his rectum. A stick or pencil had been forced into his urethra. His genitals were mutilated. His hands were cut off, and he was redressed except for his shoes and one sock, which they found.
For him to actually go and do that, just where he's only, it's in his neighborhood. It's literally in his neighborhood, and that was more of a I need to kill right now. I need to get this over with. I need to get it out of my system. And he did it, and then that was that. Because usually, I mean, they do stick to a certain area, but not to be so close to them, though. Oh my God, they were Code Blue. Yeah, TSOL Code Blue.
Never got along with girls at my school. Okay.
TOSL?
TOSL. Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry.
TSOL.
I was messing with Sykes.
So February 6th, he said, the next day is an awesome day.
Yeah.
And Kisa said that her grandfather's birthday is also February 7th.
Oh my God, Kisa. There's at least one other person in here right now that has a February 7th birthday. That's me. I don't know about Tom Nally here. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Tom. Tom and me have the same birthday.
My mom's birthday is April Fool's Day.
Liz's mom's birthday is April Fool's Day, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It was either that he was there when they were killed, Maybe somebody else did it in his group.
Yeah.
I am more and more convinced the more we look into all these serial killers that the majority of them do it in teams.
A lot of these serial killers are actually abused as children, and when they're sexually abused, physically abused,
That's
verbally
not an
abused,
excuse.
I'm getting to the point here. They tend to, it's like lycanthropy. It's when you are sexually abused as a child, you tend to branch out and do it to others as an adult and stuff like that. You tend to, and that's the vast majority of people who are abused as a child actually don't do that, but there is a tendency there, and especially with people like this, so they actually groom other people to help them out.
Oh, hey, Sykes' birthday is next month on the 12th.
Yay! Okay.
Okay, one day I'm going to find out how you guys are putting the emojis by comments. I don't know.
There's a little button right below. I'm just kidding.
Happy early birthday, my tree stalker. Okay, so Wilmington, February 6, 1973, a John Doe around the age of 18. He was found naked off of the Terminal Island Freeway in Wilmington. Cause of death, possibly strangulation. There were ligature marks around his neck, and a sock was found in his rectum.
Are they saying possible because there's a lot of decay here, so they can't
Yes,
exactly
this
tell?
guy was very badly decayed.
Yeah.
The victim was recognized by some as a prostitute who actually worked around the Belmont Shore Bluffs. LB Marina, there was no connection made to that one.
Pier 2.
Pier 2. This was Thomas Paxton Lee. He was 25. He was from Long Beach. He was found August 3rd, 1974. His body was found down an embankment in the Long Beach harbor. Cause of death was strangulation.
You know the crazy thing now? There's no way you can hide bodies over there now. It's so well grown up.
Oh, yeah.
There's just so much people over there. So much. Long Beach has about over 400,000 people.
So
it's huge now.
Lee would often cruise Granada Beach and Belmont Shores Bluff looking for one-night stands. Diabetic, no connection. Skates. This was John William Laris. He was 17. He was actually...
He's the one who came in on skates.
He was carrying skates.
He was carrying skates.
And this was another one that was taken from Ripples. Mm-hmm. And cause of death was strangulation. And this is the one that had the surveyor's stick shoved into his rectum. Portland, no connection was made to an unsolved case. Navy White, no connection was made to any unsolved case. User, no connection was made. Parking lot, May 8th, 1975. Keith David Crotwell, 19, from Long Beach. His severed head was found near the 72nd Street jetty in Long Beach. On October 18th, the rest of his body, except for his hands, were found near El Toro. They said that the cause of death was accidental drowning. This is the one that I thought was really odd, because they only found his head and they called it a drowning. Like, what the hell? And this was the one where he picked him and Kent May up and dropped off Kent May and then killed this guy.
I sent you the actual image of the scorecard if you want to go look at it.
I'm also not on Facebook anymore.
Oh, sorry. We can bring it up in here in a second. But we actually, I forgot that we actually have the image of the scorecard.
I have the image in here. I just don't want to scroll.
Yep.
Deodorant. He was called this because he had a heavy use of deodorant. July 29th, 1982, Robert Avila, 16, from Los Angeles. His body was found off of the Hollywood Freeway in Echo Park. Cause of death, strangulation.
This is the one that they're actually complaining about the smell of death. Remember? Wasn't it?
No, that's the next one.
Oh, wait, okay, sorry.
So, dog. July 29th, 1982, Raymond Davis. He was 13. He was the one looking for his dog in Echo Park. He was the one that they had complained about the smell.
Oh, you're right.
And cause of death was strangulation.
Teen trucker.
June 2nd, 1974, Malcolm Eugene Little from Selma, Alabama. He was actually 20. His body was found along Highway 86, west of the Salton Sea. Now, cause of death was strangulation, but he was emasculated prior. There was a tree branch jammed in his rectum, and his body was posed. So, Iowa, there was no connection made. 7th Street, July 28th, Ronnie Jean Weib, age 20. His body was found on 7th Street on-ramp to San Diego Freeway. His car was found with a flat tire parked at the Sportsman Bar in Los Alamitos. Cause of death was ligature strangulation. A sock was found inside his rectum. Suffered a fractured skull from repeatedly being hit in the head with a heavy object. Hung upside down while tortured.
Ooh.
There were bite marks on his stomach and penis. He was redressed except for his shoes, and he was thrown from a moving vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
September 14th, 1979, Lakes MC. Gregory Wallace Jolly from Jacksonville, Florida. He was 20. His body was found in Lake Arrowhead. This is the one that was found in Lake Arrowhead. Cause of death unknown. He was emasculated and mutilated, and his head and legs were removed. MC Laguna. June 22nd, 1974, Roger E. Dickerson. 18. He was a Marine from Camp Pendleton. He was found at Laguna Beach. Cause was strangulation. Autopsy results: sodomized and mutilated. Genitals and left nipple had been bitten and chewed. Alcohol and diazepam were found in his system. He had planned to hitchhike to Los Angeles.
Oh, this one was found in 1995.
Yep. Golden Sales. Craig Victor Jonitis, 24. Address unknown. I don't know why it says that. Body found in a lot next to the Golden Sales Hotel and Bar on PCH in Long Beach.
It sat there until 1995.
His cause of death was strangulation. The body was fully clothed except for his socks. Euclid. This is the one near my house. April 16th, 1978. Scott Michael Hughes, 18-year-old Marine from Camp Pendleton. His body was found off the Euclid on-ramp eastbound to the Riverside Freeway in Anaheim. That was the 91. His cause of death was strangulation. He was emasculated. There was a lot of diazepam found in his system. The body had been redressed except for his shoelaces, which had been removed from his shoes and used to bind and choke him.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what we got going on here. Wow.
Yeah, we got some comments.
Bob it on the loose.
Yeah.
How so?
They suspected, I think, was 64.
He
65.
was only 67.
67.
He was only charged with 16 murders.
But he also was not one to embellish his story. Like I don't think he really talked about it too much. The actual cops suspect 67. So
there were 67 murders, based on the scorecard, actually.
yeah.
And possibly more, actually. But there were only 16 that he was charged with. And wow, everything got red in here.
I know. I'm sorry. I've been out in the sun a lot, and my skin.
No, I'm not red though.
Oh.
It's just how it is in here.
Yep. There we go. We got to fix the camera
Again.
But my eyes are gray, blue. Yep. Oh. We got the scorecard. We got one portion of it.
Hold on a second. I figured I'd show you guys the scorecard.
Yeah, we're doing this. It's gonna be brutal. It's gonna be totally brutal.
Here's the scorecard. You can't really see it.
That's one
the
part
whole-
of it.
that's the
Oh,
whole
that's the
thing.
heart of it? Oh, okay.
That is the whole scorecard.
Oh, you're right.
And I don't know if that's blood at the bottom. Petroleum jelly, sock ass. Let's make puppets. Oh boy. Tom says he chewed on his own nipple once.
Okay. Good for you.
Hey!
Hello!
What's up?
Hello.
Nitro Goose. One of the Enrights.
Oh, that's right. That's
Well,
right. I forgot.
soon to be.
Soon to be. Maybe. Who knows? Has one name.
Merp.
Merp.
The puppet.
Okay.
All right, let's keep going.
We got a little bit to get through.
I might have to be a little bit late to my walk. And that's okay.
We're halfway through.
So, woo! Hoth off head.
Okay, now he's just getting cheeky.
April 22nd, 1973, John Doe. The torso of an unidentified man was found in on Alameda Street and Henry Ford Street. The right leg was found on Terminal Island Freeway in Wilmington. Arms and torso and right leg found along a road in San Pedro. Head found near Redondo Avenue in Long Beach. Left leg found behind a bar called Bowie Shed in Sunset Beach. And hands were never located. Cause of death, strangulation. Not sure how they figured that one out. Emasculated and mutilated. He was definitely bound, and his eyelids had been removed.
Which, more than likely, his eyelids were removed while he
Yeah,
was alive.
that was one of his things that he liked to do.
Yeah.
2-in-1 hitch, no connection was ever made. 76, August 29th, 1979, unknown victim, John Doe. Body found in a dumpster at Union 76 Station and PCH in Long Beach.
This is one of those crazy ones where he named
Crazy, what?
The same with, like, have you ever driven down, like, we've all taken trips at night, you know, driving through a state or driving up and down the state and all sort of stuff, going to where we're going. And we're driving down, like, the 5, and you see the rest stops, and you just see, you know, AM, PM, the giant signs up and everything like that. But you don't see anything else around there, you know. And I know there's other stuff around
You didn't finish your first sentence. This is
I know
one
there's
of
a
the
lot
ones...
of... I'm saying it's weird because every time I drive by one of those rest stops, rest areas, gas stations, when we're going on trips, that's the one thing I do think about. What's going on here? Is there a murder going on here? Is there something messed up going off in the darkness over here?
I witnessed them finding that guy that was murdered over by the Chinatown buffet the other day.
This was actually, yeah.
Like maybe 2 or 3 days ago, I witnessed the cops finding a dead body.
The Bakersfield serial killer.
Yep. Well, actually, I'll get into that one later.
We'll go into
So,
it.
Big Sur, which, by the way, is a beautiful location.
This is gorgeous.
August 12th, 1974, Gary Wayne Cordova, 23, from Pasadena. His body was found down an embankment in Orange County, in South Orange County. It was he was hitchhiking to Oceanside, but he also talked about Big Sur quite often. Cause of death, acute intoxication. It was alcohol and diazepam. His body was dressed except for shoes and socks.
By the way, the trip up to Big Sur, up to 1, is
Great.
amazing. It's scary as hell. It's foggy. You okay?
Yeah.
Oh, it's foggy and it's like Murderville when you're going through that area. Oh my god. So, yeah. Okay.
So, Marine Head BP. February 18th, 1980, Mark Allen Marsh, 20, Marine from El Toro Marine Base. Body found in Los Angeles County off Templin Highway and I-5. He had told his friends that he was going to Buena Park. He was hitchhiking. Cause of death unknown. There was a large object shoved inside his rectum and his hands were cut off. And his head was too. Expletive deleted. Is it because his last name was Fuchs?
I don't know.
It's Paul Joseph Fuchs. 19 from Long Beach. Ha. Yeah, that's why he called it that.
Sounds like it.
He was last seen at Ripples on December 12th in 76. Front of Ripples. No connection. Come on. Somebody had to know someone that was missing from Ripples. Marine, Carson. June 19th, 1978. Richard Allen Keith, 20 years old, Marine from Camp Pendleton. Body found along Moulton Park between El Toro and La Paz roads. Cause of death is strangulation. New Year's Eve. Mark Howard Hall, 22, from Santa Ana. January 3rd, 1976. Body found in Bedford Peak at the east end of Santiago Canyon. Wow, that's near where I went to school. Went to high school. Cause of death, acute alcoholism and suffocation. Dirt had been packed into his trachea. emasculated, and mutilated. Several parts of his body, including eyelids, eyeballs, and genitals, had been burned with an automobile cigarette lighter. A plastic object had been jammed into his urethra, penetrating his bladder. Say something.
No, I
You sounded like you wanted to say something.
no, I'm just reading it.
Penis was removed and stuffed into his anus. Knife scrapes on the victim's legs. Westminster date. This was Jeffrey Bryan Sayer. He was 15 from Santa Ana. He was last seen leaving Westminster after his date with his girlfriend on a few days prior to him being found, which was November 24th, the day before, 1979. He had intended on taking the bus home, but the buses had all stopped running for the night. Jail out. Roland Gerald Young, 23. Body found in Irvine Center Drive near the San Diego Freeway. He was stabbed in the heart.
I don't think this was him.
That one doesn't seem right.
Mm-hmm.
No, they did say he did stab one.
Yeah, he did stab one, which was this one, but I don't think it was him. I think it was probably his accomplices.
Maybe. He was emasculated. He was redressed. He had just been released from Orange County Jail for a misdemeanor.
Or one of his suspected accomplices.
Yeah. So, Marine drunk overnight shorts. Okay. June 19th, 1979. Donnie Harold Crissell, 20. Marine from the Tustin base. Body found on the on-ramp of Irvine Center Drive to the San Diego Freeway. Cause of death, poisoned with alcohol and drugs.
Oh, this next one.
Burned on his left nipple with an automobile cigarette lighter. Ligature marks on neck and wrist.
This next one is actually personal to Jesus.
Carpenter?
The carpenter.
Well, there was no connection made. Torrance, September 30th, 1978. This was Richard A. Crosby. He was 20. Body found on Highway 83 in San Bernardino County. Cause of death, suffocation. Left nipple was burnt with a cigarette lighter. MC dump HB short. No connection.
That's a good rap album right there.
Apparently. 2-in-1 Beach, February 12th, 1983. Jeffrey Allen Nelson, 18, from Buena Park. Nelson's nude body was found on the Euclid on-ramp to the Garden Grove Freeway. Wow, this was kind of near me too. Cause of death, strangulation. Emasculated. Thrown from a moving vehicle. Also, Roger James Duvall Jr., from Buena Park as well. 20 years old. His body was found in a ravine in the Los Angeles National Forest. So that's coming up towards us.
Yep.
Cause of death was compression to the neck.
That does fit his MO, so he basically put his foot on his neck.
Yeah. Sodomized, redressed. Hollywood bus. August 20th, 1981. Christopher R. Williams, age 17. Body found in San Bernardino Mountains in San Bernardino County. Cause of death, pneumonia due to aspiration.
Wait, so did he have him for a little bit to have that happen to him, or?
I think this is the one where they found him somewhat alive.
Oh, okay.
And
they had to.
They took him to the hospital and he died. Or this is one of the ones. No. Autopsy result. Paper was found stuffed in his rectum. He was dressed except for his shoes, socks, and underwear.
But for them to say pneumonia due to aspiration. Well, actually, that could have been
probably
him throwing up while
vomited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he OD'd is what happened.
Yeah. MCHB tattoo.
Again, man.
September 3rd, 1980. Robert Wyatt Loggins, 19, Marine from the Tustin base.
Where is he getting MC?
Marine Corps.
Oh, great.
Body found nude inside of a trash bag in an El Toro housing project. Cause of death was acute intoxication. Signs that a sock had been stuffed into his rectum.
Yep. Oxnard.
Oxnard, or as I call it, bull balls. There was no connection made to this one. Portland, ECK. Unknown name. The body was found off the I-5 in Woodburn. Cause of death, strangulation. Portland, Denver. This was Michael Sean O'Fallon. He was 17, from Colorado, but was in Portland. He was strangled to death, sodomized, and there was alcohol and diazepam in his bloodstream. Portland, blood.
This is the one that bled a lot.
This is the one that he bludgeoned to death.
Yeah.
And Michael Dwayne Cluck, 18. This was the bloodiest of all of the crime scenes.
Which is
weird
because considering what he did to a lot of these people.
He was sodomized and bludgeoned 31 times in the back of the head.
Yep.
Portland, Hawaii. Lance Trenton Tags. Not sure why they called him Hawaii. Oh, there we go. He called him Hawaii because of the Hawaiian print shirt that he was wearing. And it was actually found in Kraft's house. His body was found near Watsonville, Oregon. Cause of death unknown. Wilsonville. A sock was stuffed into his rectum and the body had been redressed.
See, do you see what we're saying here? Like, there is actually an MO here with what he does. On some of the victims where it's like stabbed to death or something else happens.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. He shoves things. Honestly, I'm actually starting to think it has nothing to do with him leaking everywhere, because when they found him, when they actually caught him, they found so much blood underneath on the floorboard of his car. It didn't really matter. So what was funny? He was known as
Damn it.
Penis Anus after that.
Why does this blur out all the time?
No, but he
really did like sticking things up his victims' asses.
That's what it came down to. Because yesterday when we were talking about this with Ashley Watzel, who's in here, and I think it was Rebecca too, that it was a cause. It was means to, and it makes sense for a second here. It was a means to keep them from leaking, but really, it has nothing to do with that. This is actually just him.
It was a whole lot of
Because he didn't care about them leaking anywhere. If you, like I said, you look at the floorboard of his car when he was caught, blood everywhere, excrement, everything, all on the floorboard. He did not give one damn about it.
Portland Reserve. This is Anthony Jose Silveira. He was 29. Body was found nude near Medford. Cause of death, strangulation. He was sodomized. Also found with a toothbrush shoved into a body cavity.
Which body cavity was that?
Probably the ass. Silveira had recently completed National Guard duty.
Oh.
He was hitchhiking to guard drill.
Well, he just got done. He was getting ready to move on, and he was having some fun hitchhiking and probably camping and doing something like that.
So Portland, head.
Wow.
Brian Harold Witcher, 26. Body found on November 28th, 1982, near Interstate 5 in Wilsonville, Oregon. Cause of death unknown. Witcher was thrown from a moving vehicle. His body was fully clothed, except socks and shoes.
Yep.
No connection to the word head has been made. Maybe he got head from him. I don't know. Like, I'm not.
Look at the next one.
Yeah.
Cousins.
Yeah, we mentioned that earlier.
No, I'm just saying it's still. I'm bringing it back up again. It's brutal.
GR2.
His cousin.
It wasn't his cousin.
Or they were cousins together.
They were cousins.
Right.
These are the guys that he had gone up to Oregon and he met them at the same work event that he was at, and he was seen talking to them in the hotel lobby. And this is the one where he murdered them, put them out in the field, and left the jacket from Silveira and left Christopher Schoenborn's keys in his hotel room. That's where I said he got sloppy.
Silveira was sad though. Well, that's the one where he was hitchhiking, right?
Silveira,
that's really sad because he was
National Guard guy.
He was literally just out having a good time, like just making it to his next, whatever.
So this was GR2 is Dennis Patrick Alt and Christopher Schoenborn, and the bodies were found in a field several miles from the hotel in Grand Rapids. This was in Michigan, by the way. They were. I said Oregon, but I meant this one was Michigan. But he was still on a business trip. Alt died from asphyxiation by choking. His body was clothed except for his genitals being exposed. His boots were also missing. Schonborn died from strangulation. His body was nude and had a pin shoved up his urethra. Yeah, that's when he started escalating to shoving things in urethras.
Yes and no. He was actually doing stuff.
So MC Plants. Keep in mind, anytime he says MC, it's Marine Corps. He had a penchant for killing Marines for some reason.
Because Marines, out of more than anyone else, when they were on leave from base, they went out to the bars to get drunk, to find someone to fuck. That's what happened, and that's the reason why he went after Marines more than anyone else.
So, SD Dope. Mikhail Lane from Modesto. Skeletal remains were found near Ramona in San Diego County. He had a history of using illegal drugs. Hike Out LB Boots. Keith Arthur Klingbeil from Everett, Washington. He was one of the 16 victims that he was actually found guilty of murdering. The body was found on the road of Interstate 4. I think that was 5, actually, not 4.
Yeah.
It's I-5 near La Paz exit near Mission Viejo. That's the 5. Cause of death, drug poisoning and strangulation. His left nipple was burned with the car lighter. He was thrown from a moving vehicle at high speeds. A bootlace was missing from his hiking boot. And a Long Beach matchbook was found in his pocket.
This is one of those ones where there was probably someone else out helping. Someone else helping him. I'm sorry.
England, no connection was made to this case.
Oil.
No connection was made either. Dart 405. Michael Joseph Inderbaten. Beaton? Whatever. 20 from Long Beach. The body was dumped during rush hour at 7th Street off-ramp intersection of San Diego Freeway and the 605 freeways.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You guys have to understand rush hour in California.
In Long Beach especially.
Yeah.
Is crazy.
That means people rushed by and didn't do a damn thing about this.
Probably hit the body.
Yeah. Or he was probably on the most far right lane, but still, people saw him people saw whoever it was in that car push the body out, and no one stopped to help or say what was going on or whatnot.
This is actually one of the other 16 victims that he was actually found guilty of murdering. The body was dumped during rush hour. Cause of death, suffocation. He was sodomized. Scrotum and testicles had been removed. Penis appeared to have been skinned. The victim was alive during his emasculation. He was impaled with a large object in his rectum. And deep burns were made with a cigarette lighter found on his nipples. The body was nude except for his pants that were pulled down below the waist. And the last one on this list is What You Got. And that one was never solved as well. So Kraft was charged with 16 murders, 14 of which were connected through the list. He has always maintained that he was innocent and told investigators that the list referred to various gay relationships that he had been involved in, and it shouldn't be taken seriously.
By the way, Randy Kraft is still alive to this day. He is. I can't remember. I think it's San Quentin. I could be wrong.
Well, so.
Yeah, he is still alive on death row. California will not put him to death.
Okay, so basically, there was evidence. So much evidence. There was blood stains, hair fibers, more physical evidence than that. Knives found in his vehicle, garrots, ligatures, shoelaces, shoes found at the house, clothing items found at the house that were belonging to the victims. And these are all the things that were shown in trial. On April 29th, 1989, each side opened their closing arguments, which lasted a total of 3 days. The prosecution again listing all the physical and circumstantial evidence pointing to Kraft's guilt. The defense arguing as the circumstantial case was put forward by the prosecution that all the murders were linked and accusing the prosecution of glossing over the truth. Following the closing arguments, the jury deliberated for a total of 11 days before reaching their verdict. On May 12, 1989, Kraft was found guilty of 16 counts of murder, 1 count of sodomy, and 1 count of emasculation. On June 5th, 1989, the same jury reconvened to hear further testimony from the prosecution and defense as to the penalty for Kraft. This phase of Kraft's trial would last until August. It was at this point at which the prosecution introduced evidence of several additional homicides committed in both Oregon and Michigan, which they were certain Kraft had also committed, for which he had not been tried in Orange County. The defense dismissed the prosecution's assertions as being highly speculative and introduced testimony relating to a PET scan conducted on Kraft, which they asserted revealed abnormalities in his frontal lobe in his brain, therefore reducing his ability to control both his emotions and impulse, which we did a show on impulse control and frontal lobe damage if you guys want to check that out. You could probably find it a little bit easier on our YouTube.
The other notes actually I was looking at, the other stuff I was looking at, it was actually had to do with him when he was born.
Mm-hmm.
The forceps, when they pulled him out, he actually had major damage from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something that lends to frontal lobe damage
Yep.
too in a lot of people that around that time. So the prosecution rebuffed his testimony by stating to the jury there is nothing wrong with Mr. Kraft's mind other than he likes killing for sexual satisfaction, adding that the fact his family and friends had found it difficult to believe that he had committed any murders simply showed what a good salesman he is. On August 11th, 1989, the jury rendered the verdict of death. 3 months later, on November 29th, Judge McCartan formally sentenced Kraft to death. The sentence was upheld by California Supreme Court in August of 2000. As of March 21st, 2021, Kraft remains on death row in San Quentin. He continues to deny his guilt for any of the homicides.
Like I said, he didn't embellish his story one bit. He didn't talk about it.
So,
this was all the police coming up with it saying, this was 61 murders here.
Here you go. Missing accomplice. Both circumstantial and DNA evidence relating to some of Kraft's murders have caused many to strongly suspect that not all of the murders attributed to Kraft were committed by one person. The prosecution believed these inconsistencies could have been explained by the presence of an accomplice. It is contended that Kraft would have had difficulty moving around 200 pounds of 200-pound corpses. Dumping them from moving vehicles while alone would have been difficult to do unnoticed.
Exactly. He wasn't a big guy.
Hey, Dustin!
Hi, Dustin.
Was that what he also got kicked out of?
I'm not.
There was shoes and body parts missing, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Was that also what he got kicked? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
Hey, Dustin!
Hi, Dustin.
Yeah. It ain't a joke here in Long Beach or LA.
It's insane what happens in rush hour. People are in the middle of traffic. They don't care. They've just been pissed, and that's that. MC Plants. Reminds me of Aqua Teen Hunger Force MCP Pants.
Yeah.
My backpack has jets. I'm Boba the Fett. I bounty hunt for Boba. But I fucked it up. Jabba the Hutt.
And that's DJ Chris. Or MC Chris.
MC Chris is also MCP Pants on Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
So, abrasions and debris found at some of the crime scenes where the bodies had been discarded upon or along freeways indicate that they had been discarded from vehicles traveling more than 50 miles per hour. And for one individual to perform this act without compromising his driving would be very difficult. Moreover, footprints in the sand close to where the body of John Laris was found at Sunset Beach unequivocally indicates that two people had carried his body where it was discarded. In the case of Eric Church, semen samples found in his body were consistent with Kraft's blood type, and while the photographs of the victims found in Kraft's car had to have been processed somewhere, no photo developer ever reported Kraft's morbid images to the police.
Yep.
And Kraft himself did not have a darkroom or any expertise in developing film. During the trial, members of the prosecution admitted privately that they did not charge Kraft in several murders that they were certain he had committed because of the facts relating to the cases which had indicated more than one perpetrator. Although DNA evidence found upon the body of Church was incompatible with Kraft. investigators had found photographs depicting Church in Kraft's car, and his distinctive electric razor was found in Kraft's house. That was in Morocco.
Now, this is also DNA evidence that they actually studied later on. This wasn't in the 70s or late 70s or 80s or anything like that. This is stuff they actually had on file.
This was in the 80s. They actually did.
I think it was like the late 80s.
No, this was during trial.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, Jeff Graves, his former lover. The prosecution believed that Kraft's former lover, Jeff Graves, may have assisted Kraft in several murders. This is what we talked about yesterday. Graves, who had lived with Kraft between 71 and 76 when 16 unknown murders attributed to Kraft occurred, had been questioned in relation to the Crotwell abduction and murder in 75 when he verified part of Kraft's statement to the police. When questioned further about the incident following Kraft's arrest in 83, Graves had informed investigators, I'm really not going to pay for it, you know. And he died of AIDS on July 27th, 1987.
Which is befitting. I'm sorry, it is.
At the time of his death, police had been prepared to question him further. Bob Jackson. In January 2000, journalist Dennis McDougall, the author of a 1991 book about Kraft entitled Angel of Darkness, published an article which recounted interviews with a small-time criminal named Bob Jackson, who reportedly confessed to murdering 2 hitchhikers with Kraft. One in Wyoming in 75 and another in Colorado in 76. Authorities in both Colorado and Wyoming were unable to corroborate the claims.
That's out of his range. That's not where he was killing.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Because there's several that were never figured out.
That's true, but at the same time, he was literally, it's where he was being sent for business, and mostly in California. And he was not sent for business to those places.
So, Jackson also told McDougall that Kraft's scorecard included only his more memorable murders. In Jackson's opinion, Kraft's total body count stood closer to 100. McDougall reported these allegations to the police provided tape recordings of the interviews. Detectives interrogated Jackson and eventually persuaded him to enter a mental institution. No murder charges were filed against him due to an absence of direct incriminating evidence. Kraft sued McDougall and the publisher of Angel of Darkness in 93, seeking $62 million in damages. The suit contended that the book smeared his good name, unjustly portrayed him as a sick, twisted man, and destroyed his prospects for future employment by ruining his chances of overturning his conviction on appeal. The lawsuit was dismissed by the Supreme Court in California in 94.
Well,
yeah, his good name, sure.
Kraft still sits in San Quentin right now. He is still alive to this day.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your night. Smeared. Wait.
Look at my teeth when I say that. Smeared.
I'm sorry. Okay. So, thank you for joining us tonight. Have a wonderful night, guys.
See you guys later.
Bye.
We're out.
I don't know, set the world on fire.